If you asked me who the best stunner and outcome was before 0.2, odds are I wouldn't say Knuckles. Since Sonic has the lengthiest stun and a lot of iframes, Amy has 2 stuns, leading to back-to-back stunning and basically being a survivalist. Also with a self-heal. Metal, it arguably has the longest stun with the shortest cooldown, well, 175 HP thing, and Blaze. We aren't talking about 0.2. Right? But, so how does Knuckles compare? I mean, he can, punch the killer. I mean, Knuckles has 2 abilities, the first one being his punch, where Knuckles enters a stance where he's extremely slow and takes less damage. Staying in that punch stance long enough causes his fist to catch on fire, leading to the stun time being extended for the Executioner. When you punch the EXE, you, wait, hold on, let me check PC controls. God. Let's see. You M1 during punch stance and lunge forward, stunning the EXE if close enough. However, if you miss, you will be punished severely. An important thing to note is that the punch also has a good ground pound variant, which is sort of useful sometimes. All you gotta know is when you're in the air, you jump, you use punch, and boom, you use it on the ground. The second ability, Counter, pretty self-explanatory. Upon use, a white outline glows around you for 3 seconds. If the EXE M1s or physically attacks you during this duration, they get stunned. Another extremely useful thing to note is his passive, which allows you to cling onto walls and jump off them and glide for a few seconds. This is quite useful when it comes to mobility, since you can travel much quicker in punch stance. In theory, Knuckles should be a strong stunner and a line of defense for the team, however there's just one small, tiny issue. So what if the EXE just doesn't want to get stunned? Knuckles' punch is extremely easy to bait and dodge, leaving him defenseless for 24 seconds. While it is true you have counter, if you whiff that, which is arguably easier to whiff than punch, then you'd better juke like your life depends on it, because it does. Anyways, now that you know Knuckles' kit, I'll be exploring how Knuckles counters each Executioner and important things to note in general. After that, I'll show some interesting things I've learned with him, alongside some gameplay and some peak commentary. Alright, let's see. To start off, Colossus is completely countered by Knuckles in a ton of ways. For starters, you can counter his charge with counter. I'm saying counter a lot, aren't I? But if you don't have counter, you can use his punch stance to reduce damage significantly, from like 40 damage to 17. Colossus has a block ability, which is like Knuckles' counter, but it's meant to counter survivors' stuns instead. Knuckles can hold his punch stance for as long as he wants, and if the Colossus blocks trying to get you to punch him, you can simply wait out the 4 seconds, and as soon as the block is out, you can claim your free stun. So as long as you know what you're doing, Colossus mains are going to have a hard time dealing with you. On to Tripwire. Tripwire. Pray you don't have to fight a Tripwire. Tripwire has 2 and potentially 3 moves that bypass damage reduction while you're in punch stance. The first one is Brighter Day, which can deal chip damage for however long the laser is on you. If you punch Tripwire while they're using the laser, and you actually land it, Brighter Day will end early. Keep in mind that Tripwire is slower while using Brighter Day, so it will be a lot easier to hit. Tripwire's second ability, Reach Out, which once again bypasses punch stance and deals about 25 to 30 damage. But if you're in punch stance while you're getting pulled, a neat thing you can do is just wait for the move to end, and as soon as that protective shield is down, boom! You punch Tripwire, giving you some time to get away. And for Tripwire's mines, if they're near a wall, you can use the glide passive I mentioned earlier and just glide over it, so that's pretty neat. But if you really want like a consistent way to avoid getting hit by Tripwire's mines, just watch your step. 2011X is in like the middle ground when it comes to how badly Knuckles can counter him. He can counter him Like, not as bad as Colossus, but he doesn't get it countered as badly as Tripwire, if you get what I mean. 2011X's charge and God's Trickery can be countered with Knuckles' counter ability. Make sure you move the incorrect way when countering God's Trickery, because if you do God's Trickery correctly and counter, I don't know how you're going to explain that one to the EXE. You can't use Punch Stance during 2011's charge to reduce damage, but you can use it during the mini game. You can build up your punch. Are you seeing where I'm going with this? I mean, if you don't, I don't really blame you, since I kind of forgot to mention it early in the video, but Knuckles has a second passive. That being stun stacking. Stun stacking is exactly what it sounds like. Knuckles can stun the Executioner when they are already stunned, extending the stun duration. At the end of 2011's charge, he is stunned for a few seconds, getting you time to run. However, if you've charged up your punch while he was busy choking you out and you get out, are you seeing where I'm going with this now? You can punch him after you escape, adding more time for you to run. Just make sure he doesn't pop rage. You can also just use stun stacking just to help your teammates in general. Like if Metal is healing and Sonic is stunning the Executioner, you can also stun the Executioner to give Metal more time to heal. This, along with everything else, that is what makes Knuckles so good in the right hands. I am going to tell you some stuff that I've noticed while playing Knuckles, and some of this you might want to avoid. I figured out that Knuckles' ground pound variant can go through Colossus' block, and I forgot to include it earlier, so do what you will with that information, just don't punish me if I whiff my block, please. Something I've noticed with Knuckles is that after you punch when you jump, your range shortens dramatically, and has caused me to sell a couple punches. This might be some type of bug or something like that, but it's what causes you, yes, you, to whiff a couple of your punches after Sonic's peel out. So try and wait a few seconds before you jump, or punch after jumping. You get what I'm saying. Right. And another thing, you can somehow drag Knuckles' hitbox a little bit after the original punch, allowing you to do some crazy stuff like this. While gliding in punch stance, you can aim where you want to go for your camera instead of using movement keys, which is pretty nice sometimes. Finally, you probably already know this, but you can counter while in punch stance and it won't use your punch. It's a good strategy to bait out the EXE's M1 and maybe give some time for your team to escape, but you can also transfer your punch status to your counter, meaning if you have a fully charged punch, that counter is going to hurt like hell. And in the scenario you whiff your counter, get into punch stance as soon as possible to reduce the damage, and then immediately stun the EXE and run. Pretty neat, huh? Alright. Enough yapping. I'll tell you the secret to how you can be the best Knuckles player ever. If you want to win as much as possible, analyze how the EXE plays. If they are hyper-aggressive, counter when they're trying to hit you or one of your teammates. If they're terrified of your punch, just hold punch stance, let the timer run down while they try and bait you out. If they're targeting a certain person, be a good teammate and help your teammates, and they might be able to help you later. Knuckles thrives in close range combat, so don't hesitate to rush in and try and help your team. You have damage resistance for a reason. Basically, to summarize it, adapt. Alright, now I am going to show you a peak Knuckles on this, where I somewhat did some of the things I mentioned in this video against Tripwire. So when the 3 random people watch this far and find this on their For You page, I'll be getting some respect. I'll probably try and provide some commentary along the way, but hey, alright, here we go. Hey, sorry if you found this video disappointing. It's my first time making something like this. But I did give it a good shot, right? No? Well, I'm gonna assume I did. So, yeah, I hope you have a better understanding of how to play Knuckles. You don't really have to follow all of this, or any of this whatsoever. But, yeah. Have a great rest of your day.